I'm Iolanthe.
And I'm Yule.
She's Egle, and we are Little Mirrors. In today's vlog, we're going to be recapping 2021 and reflecting on what it's been like being parents for a year. In some of our earlier vlogs, you'll have noticed that we've touched on other firsts, like the first week at home and the first month. If you want to go into a little bit more depth about the emotional transition into going back to work, check out a couple of our earlier vlogs. But today is going to be more of an overview. So I feel like 2021 has been quite a success, if I say so myself.
I think so.
I've really enjoyed being a mum.
Yes.
I imagine you've enjoyed being a dad.
I have.
What I'd really like to know is what it's been like for you watching your daughter grow and develop.
Amazing. It's been when Egle was born, and this is our first child either of us have ever had, and she came out and she was just this little ball of potential. She's a little person, and we didn't know who she was yet.
No, we didn't.
And she didn't know who she was yet. And, we didn't, it was so much unknown about her, and she couldn't do much.
Yeah.
And so this year has really been about, just moment after moment of, milestones and surprises. Now, when I was single, which was for quite a while, and I saw friends and family have children, I was always like, yeah, your kid's learning to walk. Every kid learns to walk, otherwise nobody would walk. It's
There's no sense of wonder.
There's no sense of wonder. Everything seems trite. When you see parents posting their pictures on Facebook about what baby's been up to, and there's a cynicism that comes with not knowing. And now I know. Yeah. I'm certainly not cynical. Every little thing this little munchkin has done, like she's almost walking, she waves, she chats, she knows words, she can speak a little bit. It's amazing, when those moments happen for the first time, you understand how big a developmental leap it is for this person.
Yes. And how difficult it is being a baby. It looks quite difficult.
Yeah, they can't do much, and then they can do a little bit more, and you know that's a big thing for them. Yeah,
yeah. I'd like to talk about some of the activities we've enjoyed deeply as a family this year. So I have found that in order to get a really good day with Egle, it's important to get a lot of her energy out in the morning. So a couple of places I really enjoyed going to are both Melbourne Museum, which has an incredible children's area with both sensory stuff, lighting stuff, an incredible outdoor area, and obviously it's really family friendly to visit, and it's good in wet weather, which is perfect for getting energy out of your bub. And the other thing that we've really enjoyed is going to the Melbourne Zoo. So Melbourne Zoo's perfect. It takes about 2 hours to do a quarter of the zoo. Animals are fascinating, so it's kind of reintroduced me to a sense of wonder about the natural world. To be fair, Egle spends most of her time looking at other kids and snacking, but after a couple of hours, she's tuck it out. We come home. It's like a success of a day. So those are a couple of things which have been delightful. What are a couple of things that you've really enjoyed doing with Egle?
I play a lot physically with Egle, so often that's just cuddling, wrestling, tickling, making funny faces, lifting her up into the air. Oh, Egle, what's that for you? Nice. But an extension of that is when we're out and about, finding opportunities to explore the outside world with her. So we have a lovely park across the road, and we spend some time there, and I like doing things like lifting Egle up into the trees so she can touch the branches and the leaves, and and playing in the grass and throwing the wood chips up and down in the air when we're at the playground, and playing on the swings and the playground things as well.
We were also given a wonderful gift by your sister, which has given not only us, but our dog Wagner a lot of joy as well. Tell us about that, Yule.
We have a backpack that Egle goes in. It's a proper hiking style Kathmandu, can go anywhere style backpack, and we use that for going for longer walks that are more off road sort of thing. and that means that we can go further and do more interesting things with Egle. And she loves it because she's at the same eye level as us, and she can also, she feels somewhat, it feels luxurious to her, I think, because she has this kind of air of nobility and maybe snobbishness up there when she's being carried around like you're on a palanquin. Isn't that right, Egle? You like it up when you're on my back?
Yeah, you do. It's enjoyable. So a couple of big milestones that we experienced this year was, returning to work is a milestone of its own. So as you might be aware, we have been taking Egle to care for 3 days a week. Now, that has been an incredibly great boon for me and for Yule, because it gives us time to obviously do our work with real intention and focus. I love working, and I think that it's true when people say that a child is raised by a community, not just like two people or one person on their own. So this year coming, Egle is actually going to be going to care 4 days a week. Now, initially, when I made that decision, I felt a bit uneasy about it. What do you think made me feel uneasy about going to 4 days with baby?
There was a sense of guilt, like you were somehow letting her down by not spending that day with her, I guess. You must have had a certain number of days in the week which seemed reasonable to you to have Egle in childcare, and the rest was maybe your responsibility to her for spending time with you and child rearing, I guess. But I noticed that the reality was, that Egle wanted more stimulation than what we could give her on the days when she was at home with us and we were still having to work.
Yeah, it felt like a compromise on those days where I didn't feel like we were giving Egle the best of us, but nor did it feel like we were giving our businesses the best of us either.
Yeah. So it was a decision that was actually to help this one out, because she's very active now and she requires a lot of stimulation. She's very social, and I think she misses her friends when she's at home with us for like 3 days in a row.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days, she starts to get antsy. Also, I feel like the relationships that we've helped Egle foster with other meaningful carers at her daycare have been important. I think that as part of attachment and security, it's great for kids to learn that there are trusted people that they can expect and enjoy care from and feel safe with. And being at care during COVID has also allowed Egle to build relationships with other little kids. And that's been really delightful to see. So one thing I would reflect on, if you're a dad or a mum and you're thinking of sending your child to daycare or enhancing the amount of days that you're going, is that you think, okay, if I feel a bit reticent about this and it's pushing my comfort levels, why is that? Is that because of a societal pressure that says that, no, you need to be home with your child most of the days of the week? And if you're a woman in particular, reflect on whether or not, if you were a bloke in the same situation, would the societal expectation be the same? Would they expect a man 12 months after having had a child to be at home most of the week? And I guess B, whether or not that they feel guilty about that, which probably they would not. So our social conditioning is not always helpful to us. Hey, Egle, would you like a snacklet? Snacklet?
Nah, boring snack.
All right. Okay, so other part of being a parent is having a lot of resources on hand. Egle loves technology. Of course she does. We're both technologist related. So I got her this phone, but she knows it's not real, and she well, let's see how she thinks. Let's see what Egle thinks of it. What do you think of that? Yeah, that's what she thinks of that. Okay. All right. So another first that we had this year was Egle's first birthday. We had it at a beautiful Edwardian boathouse by the river in Melbourne. We had a gathering of about 15 people. We would have had much more in terms of our guest list, but COVID played a real role and a lot of people couldn't come. There was also some, tension and difficulty around celebrating as a family because not all members of our family are vaccinated. Yule, did you want to discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think we've touched on this in some of our previous videos, but it really came to the crunch in on Egle's first birthday, the venue where we were holding it would not allow unvaccinated people to come.
Yeah.
And that meant that most of my immediate family couldn't attend. That was a whole thing. It was, quite tense at the time. But we all understand where each other are at now.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately going to also affect our wedding, which is coming up in a couple of months. We're already married.
Yes.
We eloped in 2020, but we decided that we would like to have a bigger party with all our family and friends once the pandemic is over. Best laid plans.
Yeah, it's kind of gone a little astray.
But we've reached a point where we can all kind of just respect where each other are at. They know that we are pro-vax, and if you want to come and celebrate with us, you must be vaccinated. If they're not prepared to do that, they can't come. But we're in contact, and I think that's as good as we can expect.
Yeah, and I know that we will not be the only people who are facing these uncomfortable moments with our family and friends. We want our family and friends to be healthy and well, and we can feel frustrated by differences around ideas of social responsibility. But this too shall pass, and I guess the most important thing that we can all do when we're in these junctures of disagreement is to remain in contact and try and remain as civil as possible. So that was the first birthday. We'll include a photo from it. It was delightful. We had a cake that was literally bigger than Egle. It was lovely. Another big thing that happened this year was the cessation of breastfeeding for Bubba. So I was able to breastfeed, and Egle also took a bottle. So we were in the lucky position, weren't we, of doing both bottle and breastfeed, which made things a bit easier. I really enjoyed breastfeeding Egle. In the last probably 5 months or so, when I was working, I wasn't pumping during the day, and I was just breastfeeding Egle at night when she'd come home from care. And she found it comforting, and I probably found it comforting. And then she had an eruption of teeth, which is its own whole thing. And she told me quite clearly that boob probably was no longer for her by giving me solid nips very regularly. So I felt a bit of grief around finishing up breastfeeding. God willing, we'll be able to have another child, and I'll breastfeed again. But I think that baby knows what is good for her. So no more boob, but that's okay. But don't be surprised that when you do finish up breastfeeding, if that has been part of your journey, that you might have some big feelings about that. Babies are still reliant on their mamas, though. I think that's the major concern that a lot of women feel, that the child does not need them in the same way. Maybe you don't need me in quite the same way. Maybe you need me in a different way, and that's okay too. So the last and most, I guess, exciting part of our reflection on our first year of parenting is actually the way that it's made us think differently about our business practice and how we structure our week. Yule, would you like to talk a bit about that?
Yes. So both Iolanthe and I have worked predominantly in flexible working spaces, co-working spaces and that sort of thing for the best part of the last 10, 12 years. And when we moved to our current suburb, the first thing we did was go looking for a suitable workspace where we could run our businesses. And we couldn't really find one. Now, that wasn't such a big problem when working from home became the norm. However, with some changes in my work situation coming up in 2022, it became clear that I also needed some office space. Iolanthe has some office space, and I would like that to be quite close to home. Not just close to home, but close to Egle's daycare. It's a lifestyle thing. It's a commute thing. There's a lot that goes into it, and the way that we've worked has changed, and our expectations have changed. And I think the expectations of clients and employees have also changed about what's required in a professional workspace when they're working with you. So I went on the hunt and couldn't find anything. And then I realised that there was a new development that is very high quality and very close to home. And there was an office space that was unused in the area, and it's much more than what we required, but it's at the right spot. And we felt that if we're people in this situation, there must be others in the neighbourhood that also would require some high quality office environment. So we've decided to open a co-working space.
Yeah. So it is called Goodax, and we actually launched the website yesterday. We already have a wait list. The wait list has people on it. So we think we're probably onto a good thing. Check out goodax.com.au. So sharing that with you is more of, an indication about the different ways that being a parent and the pressures on your time force you to think differently about how you work, where you work, and when you work. And for us, that has had the happy impact of hopefully beginning a successful new venture that will be able to support and serve other people like us who are entrepreneurs who are also parents. So 2021 has been a cracker. Egle, it's been a good one. And we look forward to sharing more about the second year of parenting and more about our businesses as they go, and our small one as she grows. I'm Iolanthe.
I'm Yule.
That's Egle, and we are Little Mirrors.